You're there. We're testing out an outdoor production so you can actually see a fire ceremony going on. Now, earlier in the week, I prepared the space and the grounds, and now I'm making the first sets of tobacco offerings. Now, each and every person here does their ceremony their own individuated way. What I'm trying to show you here is a spark of inspiration that's needed and required to get out and do. As you can see in the setup here, we've got some fire going. Very little piece of fire that we're going to make into a bigger fire. By the end of this hour, there's going to be a tremendous volume of energy flowing through here, flowing through everything. Now I need people to understand not to be triggered here. And what are triggers? Each of you hold your own thing sacred. I now bring the first offering to tobacco, Shukha, Yata, to the east, the open of illumination and clarity, to the west, to the dreams and the inspiration, to the north, place of our ancestors, and the south, the place of our 7 future generations. We offer you this tobacco, this spark, this opening, this individuated process into understanding who we are as we begin to share our story through fire. So here, I have a piece of wood that has been wrapped in yarn. Now I just did this with the intention of burning away and cutting away cords and things that need to be disconnected from this individuated being. All of this wood has been curating in its own individuated, prayed-over frequency, separate of the normal space that I've been in, for the express purpose of releasing, relaxing, and opening up to new frequencies by severing the old energetic cords that no longer serve us. This has been in the ceremonial space. This is a behind the scenes of fire ceremony. Ceremonial tools have been laid out. So many of you have heard this process spoken in the different revocations. Now, for those of you who easily get triggered, I will be smoking during this. This is tobacco, American Spirits tobacco. Why am I choosing to use this? This is the flavor of tobacco I chose to use for my ceremonial expressions. Understand, don't get triggered. Allow yourself to the opening. Here, saved coals. Saved coals. We now begin this process as we ask the previous grandfathers of the fire to come through at this moment. Hushyate, Nashyate, Unash. From the east direction, we bring in the next level of illumination and clarity. From the west direction, we bring in our dreams and our unity frequency. And from the north, we bring in our ancestors. Each aspect here has a level of desire, a level of wisdom, and a level of opening the frequency. Some of you asking, why am I not using sage? Sage has many different purposes. Sage is often used in the fire, but for this individuated fire, in which I am sharing with all of you, this medicine purpose is for this medicine grounding. That is the nature of purpose of tobacco. It's what grounded into the fire. That's what I'm bringing blessings to this cord cutting ceremony. Why am I calling it a cord cutting ceremony? Because each and every year, one must learn to cut cords. Some try to do it every month. I'm a person that does it once a year. And why once a year? there are times that people do change. And fires like these are the prayers for change, the prayers for wisdom, the prayers for knowingness. So many of our brothers and sisters are trapped in an illusion, a delusion. This illusion and delusion can create rain in their life. Rain that has the opposition to fire. This is here to share the spark, the wisdom, the joy, the happiness. For if there's not joy and happiness behind these ceremonies, why are we doing them? The joy of cutting the cords here is knowing that I've put the fullness of my potential into all of those relationships, in every aspect, in every form. That is why I choose once a year. For those of you who are new at it, you may want to do it a little more frequently. Know this in your ceremony, no matter what is charge, what is polarity, what is neutrality, that which is your highest good will retain. It is what is in your mind that you choose to retain from each and every ceremony. And what I am trying to impart to you, those that will retain here, is a way to let go of stuff in joyous happiness and frequency. I say frequency of the highest nature of the frequency you could choose to have. The fire is growing here. And I'm going to be speaking, talking, going through the rituals and the prayers so you can feel my frequency, my joy of release. Use it as an example for your joy of release. So many of you have come to me for different reasons, different purposes, from galactic history, from the reading shows, from this, from that. I flow each and every day, each and every moment, and each and every second. I am human like all of you, and if I don't do these ceremonies on a regular basis, I am not able to function in my normal process. So the purpose of the cord cutting today is to change my individuated process, to allow a greater opening of this process in a joyous expression. Now this fire is going to get big by intention. Each fire has a strategy behind it. And why do I say that? Because you must come to the multidimensional table of ceremony ready with previous expressions that have said, I've prepared. I've integrated what I have been healing within myself. I have integrated my level of joy and happiness that's required to sit in front of this fire without parts of my body, mind, or spirit taking me off into the land of distraction. We all get occupied in the land of distraction. We must allow ourselves to let go of the lands of distraction, to come to the center of the fire, to allow the individuated wisdom that's here. And I would like for some of you who are willing to go to this next level, find a contract revocation, any one of them. Share in this ceremonial fire. Many of you are in a situation where you cannot have outdoor fires. I have specifically set up this ground to share with people on a gigantic network. There are billions and billions and billions of observers of us at any given moment. We're choosing to make this unique frequency shared for everyone as a joyous reunion of heart, mind, and spirit. All right, everyone, let's get ready. We bring in the 7 future generations. We ask them to be present. We bring in the 7 previous generations. We ask them to be present. We bring in all of our past, present, and future illuminated selves. We bring in every aspect of our dreaming body, mind, and soul. We're clearing out energy, everyone. Oftentimes during ceremonies, bodily functions come up. Burping, sometimes heavy breathing, gas passing. Oftentimes, that is a form of energy clearing and release. And I just had a clearing and a release. For this is one of the first times that I have shared live these forms of outdoor frequencies. In a previous fire ceremony that I did as the Grand Solstice ceremony, that was the first time. This is now the second. And my choice to do this now is so that people get on their own individuated ceremonial frequency. I don't want to set myself on fire early. I, in this ever-present co-creative moment of now, connect my signature frequency of being to all aspects of myself in non-hierarchical order, so I may deconstruct the reality around me and create it once more without the global infrastructure of distraction guiding me into false sacred moments. O Great Spirit, who is the voice in the wind, who is this moment of infinite interconnectedness, I choose to see my life as a series of interconnected moment to moment blendings through the red road of time. Bring in these energies. I open the frequencies of joy in the startingness of this ceremony so that I may share my frequency as a non-distracted moment now, self-illuminated master. I pass the torch of ceremony to you, the spark of fire in your space that is transmuting the energy of distraction into flow, into wisdom, into knowingness. I call to the eastern doorway of perception, the ancestors who sit in the galactic and universal suns. Come with your clarity and illumination of the eighth color of time. I activate my cranial sacral pulse with the highest frequencies of sun energy, so I may know the heartbeat that Earth Mother feels in the womb of the universe. I am a fetus in the universal womb, dreaming this dream in perfect clarity. I call to the southern doorway of perception, the ancestors who teach us and teach us how to keep our internal waters in balance. Come with your sacred synchronicities of balance, unity, and helping us transform the intangible into tangible frequencies of joy, happiness, and the unity and creation of this fire spirit. I call to the western doorway of my dream times. I call to the 7 future generations of myself, my clan, my nation, and my Mother Earth. Come hold sacred space with us in this joy-filled moment of unity. I call to the northern doorway, the place of the ancestors of our 7 previous generations who have set up this reality from its ups and its downs and its in-betweens as our ancestral history. Expanding my awareness of the northern doorway, I go deep into the Blue Road Ancestral Council Elders. I manifest my I Am Dreaming Self here now at this sacred fire in joy-filled expression, a fountain of joy through every aspect of my unity to speak to the Elder Council of the Blue Road of Spirit. Aho, Red Road walkers, I say these words unto you, The generations of the past reach out to you in the unseen world no longer. We share your sovereign reality of do no harm to any sentient kind. We share our story with you. We share our teachings with you so the future may exist. You are our living hope of continued service to all soul family lineages, evolving the fifth world of peace, manifest in the earth space of spaces. I accept this talking stick of the Ancestral Council of Blue Road Elders, and I say unto them these words. We, the generations of the now, bear the responsibility of acting in the now. With this knowledge, I choose to tell the tales of ancestors, past, present, and future. We, the generations of now, bear the responsibility of acting in the now. With this knowledge, we choose to act here, now, in this moment of joy-filled frequency, connecting ourselves to the eastern and western doorways. Here is where my I am presence unifies within my knowingness expressions with those northern and southern doorways, the eastern and western doorways. I am now in eternal communal oneness with all forms of direction. Above, below, within, ancestral, star brothers and sisters. And joy-filled happiness expression of saying we are here to be in unity. I make this a moment of victory, joy-filled victory, in which we are sharing through the power of the internet, through the power of mystical technology, a ceremony of joy and happiness. I summon all victories of this I am lifetime and all other I am lifetimes this soul has been since the dawn of Blue Road No Time. Here is where I construct my eternal hall of personal victories of shared joy, personal victories of shared unity, personal victories for all of us. For it is a victorious moment that you have made it here to this shared ceremonial expression. Could I do this without notes? I could. This is my talking stick. This is my legacy. This is living the mystical life daily. This is 20 years of what it took to synthesize, what it took to understand the Akashic records of hundreds of thousands of worlds simultaneously. What it took for me to activate my precognitive workforce, preparing all of the expressions in the form of an archive to pass on as a legacy of happiness, not of despair. So many of you are caught up in the world of cosmic disclosure. So many of you are caught up in this and that, waiting for the world to change. The world will not change. And it has been the message that I have presented since I've come out. Nothing will happen tomorrow until you make it happen. There will be no ascension and awakening. There will be no UFOs in the skies come here to save you. It is up to you, the individual, to detoxify from time, make your own moment sacred so you can accept the fullness of your joyful soul, expressing love as heart-space knowingness about what to be, what to do, to bring in the hyper-purpose of inner creation. When you do see people out in the same scale and size as the 1960s and the 1970s, you will see change. But until such a time that that is there will not be change. And this is why we create these ceremonies. So many people need change now. But to have change now, we must co-create with the divine source that's working through us. How do we co-create with the divine source working through us? Through ceremonies like this, through sharing the uniqueness of the frequency. So part of my purpose of doing these fire ceremonies is to also pass on healing energy. Passing on this healing energy so that individual people can find their own next level of healing. Here we are surrounded by ancient trees. Trees that have individually guided me into a powerful creation from living the mystical life daily, known as the Grove of the Patriarchs. And I'm going to read you the Grove of the Patriarchs and the Grove of the Matriarchs, knowing that this wood has been through its own unique process of blessing to come to this hyper frequency of now. All of the trees have been prepared here for weeks and months for this individuated ceremony. The very fire pit that we use has been cured with special ceremonial energies, sharing the unique frequency of protection. Many of you heard me say it takes 20 hours a month of ceremonial time to do what it is that I do. Does it all look like this? About 15 hours of it does. There are times there is no fire in there. And that is known as going back with hindsight of previous ceremonies, feeling the coals that were within there. And there's where you make spirit fire. Spirit fire is when you take that meditation energy that you've done before and you've created with it. So I'm now going to give you the Grove of the Patriarchs. This is to align those who need masculine energy in their life. Each and every being has masculine and feminine within them. This is to realign the masculine energy, by reminding us of the way the trees work. We're never stepping on anyone's boundaries. We are never infringing on their sacred space because we are an equal co-creation. That is the message of the trees. Men must go out and seek, and women find within. When men and women come together, they seek and find with their natural process. This meditation by this fire is to assist the male energies in motion. Whether you're a man or a woman this lifetime, it does not matter. It is the mask of the energy that you are removing and allowing the truth of the masculine energy to come forth to this level of reality. By coming forth out of ancient mind space, we make manifestation the teachings of the Grove of the Patriarchs. Find yourself in your mind creating the imagery that it'll take to know yourself, feel yourself in a theta and delta wave expression. By coming forth out of the ancient mind space, we make manifest the teachings of the Grove of the Patriarchs. You are in a big valley. Trees are all around you. In the center of this valley is a gigantic river that makes a wide lake. And that wide lake has another river that goes off. In the center of that lake are two big islands filled with giant, massive trees, dwarfing everything else in the sight of the valley. This first island is known as the Grove of the Patriarchs. This is where you are journeying in your sacred space meditation by this fire, through the essence of this wood being burned, to find the level of male energy needed to bond with the sacred space so you can bring your light body as a sacred concept of insemination, of energy, of equal co-creation. You are letting go of the terms of war and blame and shame and guilt. You are letting go of tyrants and victims, for you have just created the opening of this ceremonial fire. See your feet and your arms and legs in joyful bounding stride, taking you to the water's edge. We are sealing the energies of this fire and releasing, sealing, releasing, sealing and releasing. Sealing and releasing with each step, you feel fire under your feet, empowering yourself to the greater creation of this meditation healing by a sacred fire and joy-filled expression of life force. You arrive at the water, and there is a canoe waiting for you. You get into the water, and you paddle to the island. And there's where you see the giant grove of trees far off in the distance. You let your waves ripple up over you. Your boat comes ashore. You pull it forward. We are sealing and bringing yourself to the Grove of the Patriarchs. You make your journey to the center of the island, and there you see a great stone monolith emblazoned in 1,000,000 different languages. The Grove of the Patriarchs. This place is sacred. Let go of all things that are distraction of time. Allow yourself to bond with this sacred space in union and communion with the Grove of Patriarchs. Those beings in ancient tree form are here to teach us how to operate in the times of the now as the rooted, sacred, neutral, masculine perspective. Look around. Find your ancient master that calls out to you in the Grove of the Patriarchs. Go and sit next to it in your mind so your chakra systems are aligned with its giant base. Each breath you're taking is in unison with the Grove of the Patriarchs. Each time you close your eyes and don't allow them to open again, you see the very veins of the tree taking sacred nourishment from the ground to the various highest points of the tree. Your knowingness of your own body connects to that of your own body as a heart just pumps its blood. Allow the sympathetic and parasympathetic connection to the tree. When you feel resistance, that is the sympathetic and the parasympathetic not wanting to give away control. And they will create distractions of the mind, taking you away from the vision of the patriarch. The vision of the patriarch is to stand tall because it is equal co-creation, non-competition, meaning it is sharing all of the residual image you and your power should hold on to in sacred, neutral, masculine position of a tree standing in a grove of ancient trees in equal co-creation with the divine soul that you are. It is that simple. Emanate from within what it is to be the ancient grove of trees. And with that, you will emanate that energy. You will see yourself as one of the grove of trees, one of the trees in the valley, for they are all in equal co-creation with the Grove of the Patriarchs. For every tree upon this world is linked to every other tree in the spirit world. And the tree you have chosen is your guide into the collective consciousness of all trees. Through this process of the Grove of the Patriarchs, you can filter out the masculine energies that are taking you away from your sacred bonding with your personal joy-filled heart space. Call upon the ancient master in front of you and share this image with you. The ancient tree standing tall in the sunlight, emanating perfect spiritual photosynthesis, just as the ancient master tree in front of you. Allow your body to emanate with the same area of light that the tree has. Allow the sunlight in this vision of on every branch to emanate through every branch of your microorganism, every bronchial tube, every vein, every nerve, every synapse, and every branch of your own personal creation. Bring golden, fluid sunlight of spiritual photosynthesis. Densify this vision, and equal co-creation will come within body, mind, and spirit, as the ancient master shows you what it is to stand between every rise and fall of the sun, every passing and moving of the seasons and the stars, what it takes to endure human time, no time, and tree time, simultaneously a part of the spirit, physical now. You have a choice in this mighty, co-creative moment of the now. You go deeper into the concept of what a patriarch and equal co-creation with all other masculine energy is. Call upon the very center of this tree to go into its root system, so you may begin to connect to the very source of the masculine energy that is our Earth Mother, that is asking us to co-create on our surface so spiritual incarnations can exist and reality can continue without control from domination. Get yourself deeper into this patriarch concept of equal co-creation with all forms of life. Ask your ancient master tree to teach you how to stand in the sacred neutral space in your sovereign boundaries of greatness. You are not something to be conquered or divided. You are a being that can out-create anything in the present if you should choose. The illusions and delusions of others are not a part of this process. Block them with the massive vision of all trees and all earth creation. This is your gift for every breath you have been in equal co-creation. You at any time may call upon the grove of patriarchs, and when you find yourself in domination, call upon the grove of the patriarchs to share the vision of interconnected. Every tree in this world and spirit world is there to camouflage and enhance your experience so you will not be dominated or controlled. If you should choose to call upon the vision, see you in the dream world. Power of meditation healing. We've brought a balancing energy here. Many of you are going through your own inner experiences. Some of you are going through an outer experiences. We are choosing to share ceremonial energy, so you may take this spirit fire and create transformation and transmutation in your space. For transformation and transmutation. Transformation, transmutation. Transformation, transmutation. Transformation, transmutation. Transformation, transmutation. Transformation, transmutation. It takes but a handful of words to create transformation and transmutation. As I said at the beginning, this was about transformation, transmutation. So all that isn't joy is being turned into joy. Over the last several weeks, I've had my own personal challenges with joy. For I do spirit every day. I live the mystical life every day. It is what I teach. It is what I emanate. But there are still things that bring this human being down. And if I don't do my physical cutting of the grass, the metaphorical cutting of the spiritual grass and weeds that grow within the life, allowing other energies of other frequencies of time to seep their way into this unity being, that is not me being honest to my level of awareness. For my level of responsibility is equal to my level of awareness. Now, any of you can do this. It just takes $6 a yarn, okay, which will cover several pieces. And when you are spinning it, you're bringing the intention. of unraveling every cord that's ever connected to you in every time stream and dimension that is not within your highest good, to be bound within this string and within this wood for the individuated purpose of repairing and renewing all connections, so the ones that no longer serve me are let go to the universal and galactic central sun, so they may have their freedom of choice separate of my freedom of choice. For as I am a sovereign aware being in this mighty moment of now, my awareness goes to all timelines and dimensions. And it says I'm choosing to emanate joy, love, and heart space connection. And anything that is not joy, heart space, love, and connection is being bound within this piece and bound within this string so that it may be repaired, renewed, and recycled. For the heart is now my transmutation, transformation, vessel of joy and love. I imprint with each breath my connection to the grove of the patriarchs, to the grove of the matriarchs. We stoke up the fire. So many people have a rigid view of ceremony. And one of the reasons we've done this behind the scenes of a fire ceremony, so that you can help let go of your rigidity. Rigidity. So many people get caught up in the seriousness and miss the joy of the expression. I have been doing this for a very long time. And I'm trying to impart the greatest amount of wisdom that's coming from an individuated ceremony. Sometimes you got to go with the flow, and other times you just need a plan that's been pre-prepared. Ceremonies are about both of those. It will always be your inner will and discipline that determines how much retention you get out of a ceremony, how much unity you get out of a ceremony, how much you retain. We've been going for a few minutes now. Who remembers the opening ceremony? Who remembers how the wood was laid out? Does it truly matter? No, it doesn't. It's the intention behind them. As I've said before, this was prepared. This was prepared months ago for this individuated purpose. But also at the last moment, we had to change technology for the filming of this. If I had been a rigid being, a classic type A personality, I wouldn't be able to get joy and happiness out of this sharing of expression with you. But my incredible cameraman, Robert here, I want to thank him very much. Okay? We've had a great time. We've set this up, and we're able to do it. Not an anger word or a cuss word done because it wouldn't go this way or wouldn't go that way. There was no need. For I know Spirit is working with us right now, making all of you connect in your own individual way. Each is a signature frequency teaching of the moment. I'm sharing my blessings of the fire. There are times that I want to share things with this world, and I can only do it by a ceremonial fire. And one of those is a story of our ancient, ancient world long ago when this land was known as Lemuria, 50 million years ago. We were a different species then. Our DNA is nothing like what it is today. We lived a multi-dimensional life where we didn't need a single body. We had tens of thousands that were doing all of the different things and the different tasks for our infinite amount of purposes. That is our legacy. Our legacy of a multi-dimensional, multifunctional, photonic species of light. In ancient Lemuria, they did their own versions of rituals and ceremonies in which they grew a billion trees in a handful of hours because they were able to channel the very life force of this world through the seeds and the light and the very energy that was around them, for they were in that deep of connection with their sacred space, which was the wholeness of this world. Here, in metaphor, we're sharing this bubble of sacred space that is winding its way through the internet, going to the Comcast box down the street, going into a satellite, through cables, into your router, into your computer. Is the membrane between us sacred? It is the portal of connection that has been made sacred. It is the portal of this fire and the prepared strategy ahead of it that allowed for freedom of creation so that everyone that comes to this individuated fire ceremony may have the rebirth. That is why we are calling it the Phoenix Fire Fridays. To rebirth the joy within yourself, to find happiness in these ceremonies, to transmute that which is the serious and stuck energy to joyful, bounding stride of happiness. I cannot stress it enough that that is the most important message from Spirit. We must find joy and happiness in these times. For in the ancient Lemurian times, they did lose their joy. They did lose their happiness when war came to this world and began repeating itself year after year, century after century, millennia after millennia, era of light after era of light. War is coming to an end when we choose to be sovereign beings of light. You've just heard me say, nothing happens until you make it happen. This is making it happen in your bubble of reality, by allowing the sacred ceremonial energies within your space to transmute. For everyone that is listening now, look to the space that you are on and speak to it. Share with it a cleansing word. For the portal of creation is here. This portal of creation is to help you grow, seek, understand, be a part of. Now we're going to let this fire grow a little bit. And I asked everyone to have one of their contract revocations open. If you do, please go ahead and read out to your room. Let yourself flow. Let yourself be a part of this energy. Call upon all the cloud beings of this ever-present moment as we share this ancient frequency of time and space, as we are creating a sacred portal to every aspect that is witnessing us now, seen and unseen. We are bringing the sacred fire of transformation and transmutation to each and every being's heart, mind, and spirit that is looking for equal co-creation, as motivation to create sacred energy within their own frequency that can transform and transmute the energies within their own lifetime. So we no longer need to be on the nipple of global infrastructure, of media. So we no longer need to be occupied by the distractions of instant gratification. So we no longer need to be consumed by debt or the perception of spiritual debt. So we allow the wisdom of the fire to grow at even a higher level within our mind, body, and soul. Everyone here is entitled to their legacy. The universe is not working against any of you at any point in time. It is asking for awareness of sacred energy, sacred space. Fire is growing. Allow the minds here to have greater wisdom within the fire, greater presence within the fire, greater surety with the fire. For we're burning away the dense, burning away the dense, and burning away the dense. I'm going to do some energy work now. And this is to give people an example of what to do next to their fire. Call to the tailbone energy, to bring golden fire energy into the tailbone, into the root, into the sacrum. We bring the sacred smoke of intent to the root and the sacrum, and the sacral and the tailbone and the root, and we clear out any dense energy that is within this mind, body, and spirit complex. The root is free, the tail is free, the sacral is open and pumping cranial fluid at the highest levels. We go into the solar, the place that gives the energy of the sun, of grandfathers and grandmothers, of previous generations who were a part of this unique, special frequency. We share a sip of alchemy. And the spit of alchemy, to spit out any unflavored taste coming from others. We burn away. Creating spirals. How many can see into that fire? This fire of creation. We open the solar plexus, the burst of energy, a burst of the sacred fire, freeing up anything that says you are not worthy. For any being within you that says you are not worthy is burnt away by the fire and returned to its natural place. For you are worthy of your legacy. We go into the space of the heart, that which connects us and binds us to heart space of others. Here is where some of our most ancient wounds exist, as some of our most ancient forms of joy and love, in polar opposition and polar connection simultaneously. For now, we bring this heart space awareness. We bring the energy of a clear root, a clear sacral, a clear solar, and now a clearing heart. All spiritual connections that are no longer of service to these I am beings witnessing this sacred fire. They are bound within the string, within this wood, so that it may be being recycled by the galactic and universal central sun, audited by our Earth Mother, who is sacred heart space love. We unbound our throat chakra, unlock our ability to have all of our knowingness at the tip of our tongue without resistance, to speak our words of truth in this sacred moment of now. The throat is clear, the third eye is open, and the crown has been present in the ever-present moment of unity since the very creation of the spark of this fire for the unity purpose, sharing joy, sharing love, sharing happiness, sharing the unique frequency of a transformative, transmutative fire of the now. And we offer this. And we offer this as our heart-spaced awareness. I project my unity frequency to the center of this fire. I grow my energy body to all aspects of this fire. I bring in my highest frequency of soul. It's getting hot. One must learn to roll with sacred fire. How are people doing now? Put some feedback in. There's a questions over there. Everybody's got questions. So if there are some questions, please put them in the chat box and we'll get to them as soon as we can. I want everybody to just share this energy a little bit. It's not about words being said. Vision yourself next to this fire in a prepared sacred space. Share. Find that vision of the Grove of the Patriarchs again. Find those first sets of connective words of the fire ceremony that said, I'm going to give this more than a couple minutes. For this is what it takes to enter ceremonial frequency. All of the words in the past are just words. Sit. Bring your energy bodies. The unseen world has been prepared in this fabric for you to come and share. Let go of your old energies. Transmute and transform. Simply being present and sharing sacred space, sacred wisdom, sacred unity. So much life force present now. From every blade of grass, the birds in the distance, the squirrels over there, the rabbits, the cows, the chickens, the horses. Feel my joy. Emanate it. That's all that it takes to do these ceremonies. To get the proverbial stick out of your butt. To go with the flow. To be in the moment of the now with your archive of material waiting for you. Waiting for you to do what? Get serious with it? Bring more energy to it. This is where so many people make the mistake at the fire. They mistake seriousness for power. For I can choose any one of the teachings from Living the Mystical Life Daily and read it with power. Such power that would make ears tremble and rumble. But ultimately, what would they remember? Power for the sake of power? Or interconnectedness with the power of knowingness behind it? The universal citizen acknowledges the beauty found in truth and knows all spiritual practices contain spiritual truths. The universal citizen honors every path of every creature being. It allows others to explore life in their own way without hindrance, scorn, or criticism. The universal citizen abides by the basic law of unity and equality for all. The fifth world asks us to blend spiritual practices and accept spiritual truths so we may evolve the whole world into the fifth world of peace for ourselves, our family, clan, and Mother Earth. In the past, many forms of religion sought silence in monasteries, caves, or places of power. The universal citizen in the fifth world of peace asks us to learn to make a new way of spiritual evolution happen in the concrete jungle of our creation. By blending the teachings and co-creating in the ever-present moment, we can learn how to blend all spiritual practices so that all practices have space as well as time to evolve in the fifth world of peace. The sacred neutral point of view is a representation of our spirit, its evolution in the present world of life. It means we've healed enough of ourselves so you can heal others. It means you live the facts. All beings have a sacred inner space. All beings need room to evolve with their life path. It means all sacred energy has love without strings attached or spiritual covert motives behind them. It means that you've accepted that all spiritual practices contain spiritual truth. It means you do not demean or endorse one path as being the only way. It means you have lived life as the sacred neutral observer and still co-created a life path without polarity interfering with your day-to-day operations of life, living the mystical process. It means you have accepted all paths to have personal merit to the free-willed spirit expressing their form of faith, love, and what defines that person as spiritual. All faiths need room to grow and evolve and endure the passage of time. It is with our own personal input our faith will evolve beyond its current definition. Following the sacred neutral point of view as a life path is not easy and requires the courage to face ourselves as total beings so we may repair, renew, and recycle that which does not help us evolve in the present moment. It will require time inside yourself, healing any wound that does not allow you to evolve on a cyclical basis. By learning our cycles, we begin to learn how and why we need to heal ourselves during these moments of internal dialogue, where confusion and doubt may have created a seed within you. Okay? Okay.
In situations where we cannot have an actual fire, can we do a virtual or time travel to a time space where there was physical fire and relive it, and add new contact reputations to it?
So in most cases, you need something as a representation. I do not endorse using etheric fires unless you are connected with multiple beings at that source of the time. You can use a hot plate or a stove and put water on to boil, and that will suffice. If you are even in a place you can't boil water, there is some form of restrictions on you must change. So Frida, blending the spiritual teachings and the truth means you still must do the alchemy of creation. You need something that's going to absorb those prayers that can be spread. These ashes are spread afterwards. So you can have a pot of water on your stove. It's a mat, or you get a hot plate. Or you get a Coleman burner that has those little gas stoves on it. And you get a little pot, and then you start from there. The whole point of the universal citizen is to allow that next level of blending the spiritual practices. Our world is not at a high level frequency where fires like this can be shared at a common frequency. The human being still needs the alchemy of creation. to know that their energy has gone to something, into a programmed frequency that has been pre-prepared. You could have a pot of water that's off to the side that you give your prayers 5 days ahead of time. And when it's time to put that pot on the stove, it's been prepared just like this space has been prepared. So get your genius out. There are many, many ways to boil water. You could also get a gas grill. Just a standard barbecue gas grill at any Home Depot or Lowe's. That is fire. Will you accept it as sacred fire? Will you put the propane tank between your lap and hold it and love it and send the energy of intention just like you would do to the wood? That is blending the practices of the fifth world of peace. So you can have that frequency there. Another expression, people have gas grills. Well, they have these big pans that fit on top of them, which you can put rocks into. Rocks that you know that won't explode from the heat. So that those rocks and that pan that is on that grill is doing what? Absorbing, taking in your energy. So that at the end of that fire, after those rocks have cooled down, you can spread them all around the space. It is that easy to see an alternative way in front of you. I chose the traditional form of fire, one that I have been using for a very long time. Have I done the gas grill? Yes, I have, because I have lived in places where I cannot have a fire, where the police would be here or the fire department would be here in 15 minutes. But I am able to do that here, and I'm choosing to engage that here. Would this be any different if I had a gas grill in front of you? People would be triggered. People would be witnessing something they didn't understand. But for your own individual process, is your stove and a pot of water enough? Is an outdoor gas grill, which you can get for $60, enough with a pot or a pan of rocks on top of it? Can you do your alchemy through that? Or do you need the wood? Do you need the smoke? For my advice, most people do. But if you can't, you can make so many other ways if you allow your joyful, creative genius within to not make seeds of doubt of what you're doing is wrong or right, for what you are doing is for you. The teaching of the universal citizen, all spiritual practices need time and space and room to evolve. If that is all you can muster and manage, as a pot of water on your stove, an outdoor grill, or a fire, you are still doing what you can do and have created something, instead of having it just be in the ethers of your mind, never truly making an impressive memory. That's the point of this ceremony, is to have memories that last deep into the future.
Okay, next question is from Heather. What is the sacred healing medicine of the phoenix animal? When phoenix appears in our life or dream times, what is the message?
So the message is asking about the medicine of the phoenix and what does it mean when it comes into. So phoenix has many, many, many points, but it is rebirth. That is the most important thing. The phoenix is in a cyclical process of from fire to ash to rebirth to fire to ash. That is the mythos of that. And here, each fire ceremony we are doing, where we are engaging, we are letting go of the old cords that are taking away joy, happiness, and heart-spaced awareness from us, so that we can be in joy, heart-spaced awareness, and happiness at these fires, to truly come to our most sacred inner space and let a little peace go that can be alchemized by the fire. We've unloosened our body, mind, and soul enough that some energy comes off and is taken away. That is the phoenix. That is the medicine of the moment. Acknowledging the knowledge of rebirth, that this cyclical process is bringing the new form of yourself and joy and happiness here now.
This is from Lori. I no longer menstruate, but when I did, our teacher suggested saving the Kotex and using it in a fire ceremony. I just put them in a paper bag and ceremoniously burn them. Also, when I come
Okay, so with menstrual savings and hair cutting, now if you want to go to that level, you can do that. But what are you doing with it? What are the intentions? Is that bag that you're putting all the Kotex in sacred? Is that bag protected? Have you done all the other stuff around it? Because if not, you are still sharing your own dirty energy underwear. If your intention is to make that bag sacred, that is brought to a fire, what happens if you miss a fire? What are your rules and conditions for that? So if you're going to get to that level, you must have a strategy and a plan B in case something does come up where you must roll with the punches. Let's say it's raining, you can't go out and do it on your cyclical time. What are your backup plans? You going to burn it in a bucket and walk away? No. You have to give yourself some disciplinary rules. Ones that say, my discipline of doing this process of saving that stuff, bringing the hair cuttings, what is my greater frequency of intention behind it? You must define it, have it written down as your rules, policies, and personal ceremonial procedures. Because there will come a time where you aren't prepared for something, and you do not want your ceremonies to become dirty, unprepared. You want them full of joy and happiness, so that when you do offer that to the fire, that all that old energy is burnt away through the belief that you're putting into it. So yes, cyclical doing of it, just give it some serious intended rules. They can't hear it. All right. Let me come a little closer and you can hear me. See, this is rolling with the punches.
So this is from Karen.
Okay.
Would singing high-frequency songs and or prayers to the fire amplify the frequencies of them?
Absolutely, yes. So I use a rattle, but I also use my heart-spaced vibration and awareness for that process. So I use light language, I use everything. I sometimes bring musical instruments out here. Absolutely, yes. Especially if playing that instrument or singing gives you joy. If you're too serious singing, stop singing and find that kiddie voice and energy and allow yourself the true happiness behind it. Because so many people get stuck in the seriousness, and serious is not power. If we get that emanation, seriousness is not power, it is serious energy. These ceremonies aren't always about the serious energy. They are about cracking the serious energy so it no longer limits you. So if that spirit song, that music, that does bring you joy and happiness, dance around there. Dance around there naked if that helps you. Put on spiritual clothing that bring that new frequency to you. Dress what you want to. Maybe you need to have a fire pajama party. Maybe we'll do that, a galactic pajama party one day where everyone comes around their fire in a totally different frequency. We can do that. Okay, next question.
There's no more.
No more? All righty. I want everyone to take a couple minutes and just share your energies of the fire. And I'm going to do the closing ceremony in about 5 minutes. So you will hear me talking on and off a little bit. Allow yourself your final words to the fire. And know that we are going to do this on a cyclical and regular basis. We are going to bring these ceremonies to you, to your front door, for a unique purpose of what? To get the fire in your space. So that you, just like Frida, can have a way to do it without a limitation. Thank you, everyone, for coming to this fire ceremony. And let yourself just relax. Say your words to your fire. Allow yourself to create. And then I'm going to show you a closing ceremony. called all the directions that have been called into the sacred fire. We bring you into this spiralness, into the center, that all portals go into the center of these sacred coals to bring the highest form of alchemy, the highest form of unity. We now close the eastern door, the place of illumination and clarity, for it has left an impression of mind, body, and spirit that shall be a memory. We now close the western door of dreamtime perception, for it has created a seed of pure dreaming that shall become a dreaming memory. We now close the north portal to the place of our 7 previous generations, our ancestors, for they have left an impression upon us through this ceremony and have created a memory that we will go forth with. We now close the southern doorway of perception, that is our 7 future generations, for it has created a memory in this moment of now that we will take into the future generations as a story of the ancestors of the past who have shared a sacred ceremonial fire in the east, west, north, and southern doorways, unified as a form of alchemy, of self-creation, of joy. We use the various plant medicines to seal this frequency. The power of the tobacco grounding us once again into the center of the fire. The power of this wood that has given this unique process and sharing it with us. We call to the grove of the patriarchs to bring their frequency here of equal co-creation, non-competition, non-hierarchical order, of unity, dream, now. It is our divine co-creative will that has brought us to this fire, and it is our divine co-creative will that now ends this process. Though it is still a memory within your mind that you can go back to in no time and enjoy the spirit of this fire that is waiting for you in dream time, in no time, in the 4 directions of illumination and dreams, ancestors past, present, and future, who are all waiting for you in no time, if you should choose to re-engage a sacred ceremony for yourself, for memories of memories. This fire is now sealed, and we await the next spark. For we will save these coals and rebring the birth of the fire of the phoenix once again through ceremony of joy, happiness, and unity for all. Thank you so much, everyone. See you at the next fire ceremony.